Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to all. Thanks to those who are joining us on this lovely Saturday morning. Welcome to the 10th webinar station organized by the Department of Land Management in collaboration with the Deputy Dean Office for Development, Industry and Community Relations, Faculty of Agriculture, University Putra Malaysia. So today we'll be hearing from Dr. Noraini by Jaafar about a very interesting and current topic, which is soil health and organic farming. I'm sure everyone is very excited and eager to hear from her. But before that, just a little bit of background information about our speaker today. Dr. Noraini is currently a senior lecturer at the Department of Land Management, Faculty of Agriculture, UPM. She obtained her doctoral degree from the University of Western Australia, specializing in soil microbiology. Other than her teaching and supervision on soil science and beneficial soil microorganism topics, she is also actively involved in research and promotion of organic farming and waste management for sustainable agriculture via teaching, farm production, research, community and industrial linkages activities under her capacity as a coordinator of Organic Farm Unit in Field 15 UPM. So without further ado, let's welcome Dr. Noraini to give a talk on soil health and organic farming. Dr. Noraini, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Ali. Assalamualaikum and very good morning to all. Without further ado, I will start my slides. Go back to the start of the slides. Right, so as I'm being introduced by Dr. Ali, I'm here representing Department of Land Management as well as Organic Farm in Faculty of Agriculture. All right. So the topic about soil health and organic farming is very close to my heart because it's very interesting and it's a way to go towards sustainable. So I will first give us the idea on what is actually the conventional and sustainable agriculture. So, and then the principle of soil health by definitions and understanding. And then we'll go towards the practices and the best soil management to improve the soil health. And finally, to evaluate the soil health. All right. So our mission today, my mission today, is to actually share with you how we can actually start baby steps, towards being sustainable, and then how we can start at our own farm or own garden, all right, or even at our backyard. Okay, so now you will see just two images here about the deserted earth and the plant dying, and the other one is green with the water flowing and the plant living very well. So these are the two contrasts between conventional agricultural effects and the sustainable agricultural effects. So conventional agriculture, what does it mean? So it is actually the current practices, whereas people are using a lot of chemical, either pesticides or chemical fertilizers to improve their crop growth, all right? And conventional agriculture also involve a lot of machinery to till the soil, all right, to plow or till the soil. So these activities or this kind of practices eventually at some point have been degrading the soil, and if we don't prevent it now, it will then end up to be in that image, deserted and unfertile. Okay, so in contrast to conventional sustainable agriculture, so my topic organic farming is actually one example of sustainable agriculture. So what is sustainable agriculture? It is a farming system They are capable of maintaining their productivity to society indefinitely without causing irreversible damage to ecosystem health. That means the farmer that are claiming, if you want to go sustainable agriculture, we are taking care of the environment, yet we are also getting the profit, that is the economic development, and we also take care of our the human, the social political benefits. Okay, so the farmer should fulfill all these three goals of sustainable agriculture. So what do people can help in you even at home trying to have to go towards this sustainable agriculture? So we'll go to something as an example, organic farming. So I'll be talking about the practices that are used in organic farming, which you can adopt one or two in your backyard, in your garden, in your community garden, or in your farm, so that eventually you go towards more sustainable agriculture. Okay, so organic farming is the agricultural system that uses environmental friendly techniques, okay, to increase agricultural production. It can be crops or it can be organic animals or livestock free from chemicals. Okay, so the other one that in organic farming, we avoid the use of GMO. All right, so the objectives of organic farming: the first one, as I mentioned before, sustainable agriculture. The second one, to prevent adverse effects to environment. This is among one of the goal in sustainable agriculture. The third one is healthy crops and animal and less diseases. And the fourth one is safe food for health. All right. So as you can see in this image taken from IFOAM, which is the International Organic Federations, it will you can see there are four principles in organic farming all over the world that practices organic farming. These are the four key principles that being adopted. So there are first the principle of health, which is very related to the topic of my talk today. Okay, the principle of health. Other than that, we have the principle of ecology, fairness, and care. All right, and then in Malaysia, we have, as you can see in the middle image, we have now My Organic. It used to be SOM. Okay, now it is being rebranded as My Organic, which is the organic certification in Malaysia. Okay, so the farmers that run this agriculture or organic farming, their produce can be labeled with My Organic if they fulfill the requirement for this My Organic certification. Okay, so in our class here we have the organic class, the organic production course, which we also refer to the MS standard related to these organic farming practices. Right now, so as I said, the first principle in the organic farming is soil, is the health. All right, so coming back to organic farming and the soil health in general, so the health is actually the wholeness and integrity of living system. So it is not simply meaning the absence of illness, means the soil and the plant are not sick, but also the maintenance of the physical, mental, social, and ecological well-being. That means the farmers are well taken care of, and the soil are well taken care of. Even the animals, the insects, the environments, the water, they are all being taken care of. All right. So using organic approaches, environmental friendly approaches, this is how we maintain this well-being. Okay, the health. All right. So immunity, resilience, and regenerations are the key characteristic of health. So this is what we aim in our soil health. All right. So hoping that we able to sustain and enhance the health of ecosystem and organisms from the smallest in the soil to human being, because the microbes in the soil are doing something good in the soil. So we need to take care the health of the soil. And eventually, whatever being grown or produced, we will definitely eat them. All right, the plant, okay, or the chicken eggs, or the chicken meat, all right, the poultry, chicken. So we are eventually the user, or it will end up in our plates. Okay, so it will also need to be taken care. All right. So the key thing, the final one about sustaining soil health and relating to organic farming is to avoid the use of fertilizers. In this way, in organic farming, we are using organic fertilizers rather than the chemical fertilizers. Okay, pesticides, meaning that we avoid the use of chemical pesticides, but we use more other options for pest and disease management. For example, repellent plant, we have the biopesticides and so forth. And we don't use animal drugs and food additives in the if we are raising the chicken organically. All right, so no drugs and food additives. So these are the things, the chemical fertilizer, pesticide, drugs, and additive, they will have adverse effects on the health to us, human. So the aim of organic agriculture, we should sustain and enhance the health of the soil, plant, animal, human, and the whole planet. Okay, so why am I relating or using the practices in organic farming and relates to the soil health? Because as I said, it is crucial in organic farming, and how we're going to retrieve or rehabilitate our degrading soils, okay, based on what have been done in conventional farming. So we can see here one of the infographic from FAO, right, where it is actually being done very informatively and attractively to show you the drivers of soil degradation and also the consequences of soil degradation. As you can see on on the red arrow, we can see the mismanagement of the soil are one of the drivers. So we need to manage the soil health and using the right soil management. And the solution, see, sustainable soil management. There are a lot which I will discuss throughout my talk today. All right. On the left, you can see these are among the reasons why soil health matters. The first one, to obtain the healthy soil, we will then eventually lead to plant growth. And then while improving the soil condition as well, we can purify the water, the soil water or underground water, and then improve the soil health while taking care of our environment. So this kind of infographic is available in FAO website, Facebook, under for educating the community on and the public about taking care of environment. This infographic is related to the year of soil 2015. All right. Okay, another one from FAO. So these are again showing the roles of the soil as the foundation of nutrition that the humans eventually eat and absorb in the body. All right. So sustainable use of soil and good ecosystem services will help to reverse this soil degradation and then help to restore soil functions and soil health, and then it will able to address the importance of soil biodiversity. So take note of soil biodiversity. I will come and talk about this soil biodiversity later on. Okay, so these are the things why we can reverse the soil degradation through improving our soil health via our soil management practices. All right. All right, so now we have come to understanding what is soil health. Okay, so understanding the definition. So it is defined as capacity of the soil, okay, to perform this function, either physical, chemical, and biological properties, which are often measured separately, yet must be considered as an integrated whole in order to accurately assess soil condition. So, I will come back to this definition about physical, chemical, and biological properties. I know it might be too technical, but I try to simplify so that the audience can understand. All right. So soil have also been referred as soil quality. The healthier soil, the better the quality of that soil. Okay. So the other definition is the continued capacity of the soil to function as a vital living ecosystem that can sustain plant, animals, and human. All right. So soil actually is important. So it has us to us. We the human as the end user. Okay, we are. It will end up to our plate either the poultry, the meats, or the vegetables or the fruits. Okay, but then in larger or broader aspect, healthy soil is a prerequisite to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals 2020. 2030. All right. So there are various SDG goals where you can see in this infographic again cited from FAO. Very nice one to generalize this under the framework of a global soil partnership. Okay, so they prepared this. So you can see there are 3 or 4 SDG goals such related to SDG 2, zero hunger, and then to SDG 3, good health and well-being, and then eventually about the environment, SDG 15 and 8 and 6. All right, so these are the things that matters, soil health matters, that show us the importance of soil health to the broader aspect in the whole world. All right. Okay. So soil we look at in agriculture is the source for to grow our plant. All right. Or the poultry go and eat the grasses, but it is in broader aspect. It is a lot. Okay. It is to support the buildings and so forth. Okay. Proceed to try to understand the soil. So I suppose this is the series 10 in our GPTH webinar series. So I suppose my colleagues earlier than me have talked about soil physics, soil chemistry, and soil biology. But if you just followed this webinar, I will refresh your mind, or I will introduce back to you about the soil. Soil is actually the results of weathering of rocks and minerals. So it takes thousands of years to build up the soil. Okay, and the soil, they have different horizons or layer. So in the soil, there are 4 important components, which are the first one, minerals, or the solid one, soil minerals, and then the water, and then the air, and then the purple one is the organic matter. So you can see the portion of organic matter roughly below 5% in the soil. All right. So these are the crucial thing. Organic matter are the one that I will clearly relate in the coming slides on how our management can influence the organic matter content of the soil, and how this will have consequential effects on the microbes and the soil structures and so forth. All right. So this soil, as you can see in the middle figure, they are living things. The fauna burrowing inside the soils, going to the surface of the soil. The plants are growing, the roots are growing, and those micron size microbes are there in the soil. So this soil health and fertility, the one relates to a certain soil quality or certain soil properties, which are the chemical, physical, and biological properties. So physical properties is like the structure of the soil. Okay, and then chemical properties is like the nutrients of the in the soil. Okay, the nutrient cycle in the soil and the pH as well. And the biological properties is definitely the organic matter decompositions and microbial activities in the soil. So as you can see here, listed are the importance of the soil. So the soil health determines its fertility as well. All right. So I'll come back. Some of the points are overlapping to show because it's still related to one another. So I'll come back to some of the importance in the slides in for the following slides. Okay. All right, on the very right image are the microbes where you can see or observe under the microscopes because they are in micron sizes, very small. All right, so this relate to health of the soil. It plays with the nutrients, which is the soil chemical, water, soil organism, crop resistant. It will then, if we manage soil efficiently, we will require less input, for example, less fertilizers, okay, and then it will improve root development and then improve the soil structure, aerations, and eventually the plant growth and yield, and also the recovery of the plant if it's in the stress condition. So I would rather focus on the main diagram in or illustration in the middle, where it's actually showing you the fungal hyphae and the bacteria living inside the soil particles and the organic matter and their hyphae, as well as the glue of the microbes, are gluing or holding the different soil particles and make it into aggregates, clumping. All right. So these are the rules that we often overlook about the soil microbes. Okay. So because we can't see them through our naked eyes, so but we still need to know they play an important roles in the soil health. All right. So coming back about soil chemistry, soil biological, and also physical properties, these are the things that they are the factors that plays important roles for soil health as well. All right. Okay. So these are the more wording about soil key function, because we need to improve the soil health first in order for us to gain the benefit to our plant, to get more better plant growth, better yield, and also better environment, less contamination, and so forth. All right. So soil function as biological, physical, and chemical support for plants. So that is the main thing. Then it will the soil the key source or resource to produce our food, feed, fiber, and fuel. Okay, soil also is providing the food and habitat for these soil microorganisms. These soil microorganisms they are the key regulators for nutrient cycling and seed sequestration in the soil. Other than that, soil should retain water and aeration to support the soil life, which include the soil microbes, soil fauna, and also for the plant roots. This other than that as well, okay, soil key functions are involved in filtering, buffering, degrading, immobilizing, and detoxifying organic residues and inorganic materials. Okay, so it can limit or suppress or buffer or filter these harmful chemicals. All right, and protect ground and surface water quality, and also prevent the growth of weeds and pests as well. Okay, so on the left side, sorry, you will see the images under the electron microscopy and also fluorescent microscopy, whereby you can see the image with the arrow showing the fungal hyphae growing on biochar, which is one example of organic matter, growing inside the pores of the biochar and on the surface of the biochar. So that shows the point of key soil functions number 3 about soil as providing the food and also habitat for this fungal hyphae. So fungal hyphae, they are micron sizes. So they are the the bottom low, the smallest living things in the soil. All right. Including the bacteria, all right, among the smallest living things in the soil. Okay, so they are exposed to predator like the protists and nematodes who likes to eat their hyphae. So by having this organic matter, it will help them to seek protection and then live and develop and do their work in the soil. Okay, so so now we are coming to the principle of healthy soil. The first one is how we ensure the soil, to ensure we have the soil cover. The second one, to ensure we have diverse biodiversity. The third one, to ensure we have living roots in the soil. And the fourth one is to have less soil disturbance. So how do we do that? These are the principles, and the best thing to summarize all these 4 principles is that we have to amend the soil with organic manure, crop residues, and then we have to ensure the root that we grow can help to grow to help the soil conditions. Okay, it's will improve the aeration and so forth, and we have to reduce the tillage or plowing to the plowing the soil, because they will affect the organic matter process. Okay, and also we have listed here the ways to sustain soil health and fertility, which I will mention separately in their separate slides. Okay, moving on. Okay, so the 4 crucial management practices that we can apply at our backyard, at our farm, or at our community garden is first to add organic soil amendment. So we can get them from our kitchen waste, from our farm waste, garden waste, which we can convert into compost, and then we can grow legumes as green, and then convert that as green manure, and then we can also apply biochar. Okay, there are numerous soil organic matter or organic input that you can apply to the soil. Okay, then the second one is to maintain biodiversity, and the third one is to ensure the surface of the soil is covered either by mulching or through the planting of cover crops. And the fourth one, definitely minimum tillage or use of heavy machinery to prevent the soil compaction. As you can see here, we use silver shine, and we also have organic mulches in our farm, organic farm. All right. So first thing first, we apply organic input. Okay, so the role of this organic input, of course, while they are decomposing, they will release these nutrients. So they are the source for plant available nutrients and also plant available moisture. So they also will help in the aeration, in the aggregation of the soil, which then will ensure easy root penetration throughout the soil profile. Okay, and then this organic input will help to have less erosion and compaction, while also being the food and habitat for microbes. And then it will improve some of the organic matter through their processes. It will release a lot of beneficial mechanisms and nutrients to improve the plant resilience from stresses. Okay, so how we can improve them? We have the first one is green manuring, where we plant the leguminous plant. So the easiest one is you use the mung beans or the green beans. You just throw it spread it on the soil, on your bed or soil bed or the soil. Okay, and then it will grow for 2 or 3 weeks, and then you will plow it back into the soil and leave it before your next plant. Okay, so these are green manuring. So what this green manuring, especially the legumes, why in legume is suitable for green manuring because these are for nitrogen resources. Okay, it provide nitrogen, so it will then give benefits in terms of nutrient cycling. It will increase soil organic matter, and it will reduce erosion and nutrient leaching. And by growing this green manuring as the legume as the cover crop on the surface of the soil, it will reduce the weed growth, and then it will increase the soil water holding capacity. Of course, the other things that we can do is composting, which I will just flip through because if I have time, I'll come back to these slides. But then there are ways of you to use your plant waste, the animal waste into being your organic input. So organic inputs, you can either apply it as solid, you can also apply it as liquid fertilizers, and you use cover crop and mulch, and you can also improve the soil health by adding microorganisms. So here we have we have organic fertilizer, which can be solid, which is among them are compost, biochar, animal manure, green manure, insect frass, and bone meal powder. We can also have the liquid fertilizer, okay, or liquid organic input, which is the bone meal extract, compost tea. FPJ stands for fermented plant juice. FFJ stands for fermented fruit juice. We have wood vinegar. We also have fermented amino acids, and then we have the biofertilizer, and we have EM, local, we have IMO, and we can also have photosynthetic bacteria. So these are among the things that you can add to your soil and manage them. Okay, so to provide whatever needs to the soil. So wood vinegar is actually the smoke or the smoke or the byproducts from the pyrolysis. Pyrolysis is the process where we produce biochar. So biochar is actually the charcoal, okay, but we use the biological waste from agriculture, and we burn them or pyrolyze them, and then we reapply them in as biochar. So as you can see on the top left, the original rice husk, and then we burn them or pyrolyze them into biochar, rice husk biochar. So these are the things that you can apply to the soil to improve the health of the soil. All right, so there are a lot of things that you can do where based on your resource, whatever you have at your own yard or near your area. Okay, now coming back to organic matter. So these inputs is a liquid, organic, and also biofertilizers and plant boosters. It will help to increase these activities. It will help this aeration, promotes environment suitable for microbes and for plant roots, and then release the nutrients for the plant uptake. All right. So, coming back to the second management practices is to maintain the biodiversity. So, what are the kind of practices that can increase the biodiversity? So, we'll look at this simple table. So, intercropping, crop rotation, and cover crops are among the cropping system that we can apply in our farm. I'll come back. I'll go to this slide later on. But just to look at the images here, you can see we advise to have various kind of plants. If you have the one repellent plant, a tractum plant, your leafy vegetables, the fruiting vegetables, the fruits vegetables, you can have the ones what we call the longer terms and the shorter terms. So this shows the variety of the plant. But what we also want to encourage is the biodiversity below ground, which you cannot see. We cannot see, but we know we are helping the biodiversity and below ground. Okay, coming back to here. All right. So based on this, so this FAO campaign on to keep soil alive and protect soil biodiversity shows us that soil biodiversity is important. All right, because we can't see them and we often overlook them. How to manage them? How to improve their activities or their population? So they come up with, with this very good infographic showing us the various microbes and faunas that are contributing on the biodiversity, because all the more the better, the merrier. They are doing the worms are doing their own benefits and for to the soil, and so as the fungi and the bacteria. Okay. All right, so here telling you about above ground and below ground biodiversity. This is also cited from FAO to show you that not only we maintain to have diverse crop, we also have we want to stimulate diverse insects. All right, so that we have the bees coming in, the birds coming in as well, and then we also have those below ground. Okay, fauna. Okay, so these slides with a lot of words showing you the key thing that this fauna, they moderates the soil. They are the key engineers in the soil. For example, earthworm, ants, and termites. They incorporate the dead organic matter from the surface. Once the leaf fall, they are the one, like the earthworm, they will dig their tunnel towards the soil surface, and they will bring this dead organic matter into the deeper soil horizon, and that from there on the microbes will able to degrade and what I call decompose this. So these are the key processes in organic matter decomposition in the soil, where the soil fauna start off with biting them into smaller pieces of this organic matter and then bringing them to the soil horizon, deeper soil horizons, and then microbes are the one who then take part in decomposition through enzymes and other decomposition activities. All right. And then through nutrient cyclings, the nutrient will be available for the plant uptake. Okay. Right, the next one is to make sure the soil surface are covered. So we can use mulches and cover crops. As you can see, these mulches and cover crop plays a similar roles. Okay, mulches help to cover the soil surface from the heat of the sun coming into the soil layer. All right, when the heat from the sun comes to the soil layer, it will release a lot of evaporization. Okay, we will lose a lot of moisture, and this won't be suitable for our microbial activities in the soil. All right, so by having mulches and cover crops, it will increase this microbial nutrient and other activities and reduce the water loss, the weed growth, and also soil erosion. Okay. Similar, as I said, they will play their roles in erosion protection, improve organic matter, and increase water infiltration. Okay. Okay, coming back to what increased the biodiversity. So crop rotation, intercropping, and mixed cropping are among the cropping system where you can apply in your farm. Meaning that crop rotation, you will plant the different types of plant in the same area. After one cycle of plant, for example, you have this leafy vegetable. The next cycle, on the same place, you can apply after the first cycle of the first crop. Then you can plant other types of plant. So you will rotate different types of plant on the same area or bed. Okay, so that is crop rotation. So by rotating these different types of crops, you will help to improve the soil structure through their different rooting, because different plants have their different rooting depth. Okay, and through crop rotation, you can also break the pest cycle. All right, because they will aim for that plant at similar place, but if you plant different plant for after the next cycle, they won't able to attack the plant because it's not their host. Okay. So then intercrop means having two plants at the same time. So you will have the main plant, okay, one crop, main crop, and the other accompanying that crop. So you cultivate more than one crop at a time. Okay. So you can see here in the picture we have intercrop between the leafy vegetables with our onion. Okay. So why is that so? These are the simplest way for you to repel or what I call confuse the pest that aims to eat your leafy vegetable because of the smell of the onion. So these are the ways that you can intercrop your plants. And then by having mixed cropping, if you have your gardens, you have, let's say you have 4 beds, let's not just plant one type of crops on the similar 4 beds. Just you can mix cropping by planting one type of crop in one bed, and the rest of the bed you can plant maybe legumes, and the other one can be tomatoes, and the other one can also be for green manuring. Okay. Right. The final one is to minimize the disturbance. So minimize the machinery, minimize the soil compaction. So the farm machines are very heavy. So once the frequent machinery in our field will affect the soil to be very compacted. So when the soil becomes compacted, less water can infiltrate the soil, and then with compacted soil, the root growth will be limited. So these are the things why we don't want to have a lot of machinery, and we want to minimize the plowing of the soil. Okay, by plowing a lot or frequent plowing, it will affect a lot of processes. It will fasten the decomposition process, which is not good, because we want organic matter built up in the soil, and not losing our organic matter too fast. All right. Then by plowing the soil, it can also expose and open up for weeds to grow, and it will affect the moisture to be lost, and microbes will be affected as well. So that's why minimum tillage or minimum plowing is recommended. Okay. All right. So I think we have come to about nearly finish on the soil practices. Okay. So coming back on here, I will come to how you can do your compost. So this is easier for you to see the leaves with holes that you won't eat, okay, or you won't cook. So you can use these ways to be your fertilizer or compost. Okay. All right. So now we know what is important to maintain the soil health by having different type of crop, by improving the soil through adding organic matter and biofertilizers as well, and then make sure the the soil surface are covered, and also minimum tillage or disturbance to the soil. Okay, so how do we determine our soil? Are they healthy or not? So there are simple direct approach, and also the one that requires you to send your samples to the soil, standard soil test. So two kind of approach where you can evaluate the soil health. So the soil health is determined by soil physical, chemical, and biological properties. So you can monitor based on the color of your soil, 0 to 15 from the surface of the soil. Okay, and you can also check by seeing whether you can see earthworm cast or not, because that will be the direct observation in your farm. Okay, of course you can send your sample to the lab to check on the soil nutrient and other soil physical and biological properties. Okay. All right. So there are, of course, actions for you to maintain or ensure your soil health. You want to prevent deteriorating soil health. So you need to monitor. So you will have different cropping system and additional measures such as the cover the soil surface and add more organic matter, less tillage, and so forth. All right. So I'm not sure how many audience we are and we have here, and then from what background, but you can start somewhere. Okay. So where to start? You can use your kitchen waste and your farm and garden waste. And you can do that at your home, or you can do that in the soil or on the soil surface, where you add this waste with the molasses or sugar, not me. This is gula merah, okay, sugar. All right. So the brown sugar, okay, or the molasses are the immediate sugar on the immediate energy of food for the microbes to decompose before they start decomposing your kitchen waste or farm garden waste. So this slide shows you the processes by adding first you have to definitely chop into smaller or fine particles for it to be easily decomposed, and then you mix with this brown sugar or molasses, and then you mix around, and then you can see the changes in their color as well. And at the end of the composting process, you will have a dark color organic matter, odorless, no smell, and then it can be ready for you to apply as even your as medium and also as fertilizer. Okay, so in summary, okay, so I know I probably be a bit fast, but I try to cover different aspect on this topic, soil health. So what we can do here, there are other ways of trying to do your part in ensuring soil health and then being sustainable. So first thing first, you can recycle your waste. Okay, that will include to be applied as a organic matter to your soil. Okay, so how to improve your soil health? By minimum tillage, by having cover crops, by rotating your crops, having mixed crop and also intercrops. Control the weeds. This is through cover crops and mulches, and you also need to add that organic matter. And the other element is to have the integrated pest management, which is not the focus of my topic today. So by reducing the tillage, we will increase the biomass with more rooting, more higher diversity, and you also have the surface covered. Okay, so there you will have the increase in organic matter, reduce compaction, and then you will improve the aggregation and water holding capacity and overall soil processes. Okay, which then will be benefiting your plant and then the yield for the farm. All right, I think that's all. Okay, I would like to first let you know about organic unit that we have in our farm. It is already My Organic certified, and we want to educate to the farmers, the community, whether you are in schools. So these are the things that you can reach us via our Facebook. We used to have this name as Pendidikan Organik Kanak-Kanak, but we have recently renamed it as Organic Agri UPM. So follow our Facebook there. All right. So anything, come and contact me. So that's all for my talk today. All right. I think yeah. Any questions now?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Noraini, for that very interesting sharing. Before we proceed with the Q&A session, I would like to remind all participants to fill up the attendance form through the link provided in the comment section. We will email to you the e-certificate, okay? So we have a few questions from the audience. I think maybe we can start with a question by Dr. Christopher. What is your opinion why organic and more natural farming failed in India despite being heavily promoted by its government? So, Dr. Noraini, any comment or thought on this?
Yeah. I can't I first of all, India is well recognized for them to have even an organic state where they practice organic farming in that particular state. So why they fail? This is still probably uh, my view to dig on, but I think I've learned a lot from India. So they use different kind of practices where their inputs is more on using the waste from the cows, because cow is the holy animals from them. So they use cow dung and cow urine to improve their soil and soil health. So they are also, I think, they are successful story to show to the world, but I'm not sure why they are failing. Okay, they are failing, and I think rather than focusing on their failure, we rather look at their success, because they are actually having a lot of organic technologies, organic fertilizers, and environmental technologies to start for organic farming. So in Malaysia, we are still in our baby steps on improving. We are still far behind, but we can learn from India. So that's my view. I can't comment on why it's failed, but maybe there are different policies which we won't really understand. Thank you.
Okay, so we proceed with the second question by Dr. Adiba. Okay, if I build my soil organic matter, how will it affect plant available nutrients?
Okay, the thing is, you have to know that this soil organic matter, there are whatever the organic inputs that I have given as examples, they are slow release fertilizer. That means they release the fertilizer very slowly and not immediate as compared to the inorganic fertilizer or chemical fertilizers. So if you are saying that how will affect plant available nutrients, definitely you will need to think of. So the promotions of nutrient release, it will take some time, but that's why in organic farming we not only incorporated the compost, we also have the chicken manure as source for nitrogen. So we know at the beginning of any plant growth, nitrogen is important for photosynthesis, and that's why we have the chicken manure to be the source of nitrogen. And that what we call green manuring as well provides the nitrogen for the plant. So what the other nutrients are releasing for the plant uptake, so it is I think there's no issue about plant limited nutrient availability in the organic farming, because there are success stories, and normally we apply twice the amount because the nutrients in our organic fertilizers are low, so we have to apply twice the amounts, and due to its release as well and low concentration. That's all.
Okay, very interesting. Next question is, I think, from Dr. Christopher again. What is your advice to home gardeners who wish to start to use more natural methods in their gardens?
Yeah, as I said, how to start? Let's start by using gathering your kitchen waste. So in this manner, I will definitely ask you to get the plant-based waste. For example, the peel of the onions, the leaves, the roots. You can start by decomposting and decompose them as via composting. Okay, you can add them with coffee waste, tea waste. Okay, and you have a lot of waste from your kitchen, but not to use the animal based, for example the fish or the chicken, or because you can use that in other ways but not composting that. So I would propose that you will start composting at your own garden by using your kitchen waste from plant based. That's all.
Okay, so the next question will be from Kamanusi Rusali, faktor biologi, adakah mikrob yang diguna mengikut nombor satu, profil tanah, kedua, jenis tanaman? Biasanya yang banyak digunakan adalah Bacillus trichoderma. Mohon penjelasan.
Okay, kebanyakan, so saya jawab dalam bahasa Malaysia lah. Okay, kebanyakan profil tanah selalunya kita tahu microbes dan organic matter tu dia tinggi di layer atas 0 hingga 15 dan 15 hingga 30. Jadi di situlah selalunya microbe berkumpul, sebabnya organic matter, bahan organik itu selalunya di situ, dan bahagian akar juga banyak di situ. Jadi microbes perlukan bahan organik ini sebagai makanan dia, untuk dia juga dikomposkan organik matter ni sendiri. Jadi dia memang akan ada dan berkumpul banyak di kawasan berdekatan akar, iaitu kita panggil rhizosfere. Okay, jadi sebab itulah availability atau keberadaan mikrob ini memang mengikut bukan kata profil tanah, tapi di mana adanya kawasan akar dan organic matter yang tinggi. Di situlah mikrob selalunya lebih banyak berbanding di kawasan bulk soil yang tak ada banyak organic matter dan jauh daripada kawasan akar. Okay. Jenis tanaman, betul juga jenis tanaman, because of macam contoh PGPR, plant growth promoting rhizobacteria, bakteria yang mengikat nitrogen. So dia bersimbiosis dengan akar tanaman kekacang. Jadi jenis tanaman juga mempengaruhi. Jadi in some cases lah. Okay. So Bacillus memang banyak digunakan, trichoderma memang salah hijau tu, tapi memang ada role sebab Bacillus, bakteria, trichoderma, kulat. Jadi semuanya ada fungsi tersendiri di dalam tanah. Jadi betul. Jadi apa yang kita perlu, kita boleh buat sebenarnya, kita punya mold, okay, mikroorganisma lokal, atau kita boleh improve, tambah je organic matter dalam tanah, insya-Allah mikrob yang sedia ada dalam tanah tu akan banyak populate dan akan menjalankan aktiviti. Itu je.
Okay, next question will be from Ahmad Jaafar. Does tap water affect the biodiversity in the soil?
Apa dia? Tap water?
Affect the biodiversity in the soil.
Okay, tap water ni kita selalunya itu yang paling, datang to English. Alright, so tap water essentially is about the practicality. So of course we use tap water to water the plant. Okay, but if you can use the groundwater, with regards that the groundwater is not contaminated, that's okay to use the groundwater. If you have the ponds, okay, you pump the water from the ponds and then you water your plant, that will be alright. But in organic farming, we will ensure that the tap water is the best to water your plant. So how does this affect the biodiversity in the soil? I don't think I have read or did to tackle this issue, or to compare whether the tap water affect the biodiversity. I think there are more important aspects that affect the biodiversity. For example, if you're a lot of grazing, if you don't manage the soil effectively, then it will affect the soil. So the use of tap water is I think a minor issues to really concern on the biodiversity. So I think you don't need to really concern on the use of tap water that will affect the biodiversity in the soil. Thank you.
Okay, so I think we have a last question from Angelo Leon Nicholas. From your point of view, can the farmers increase their yield by using organic fertilizer, same as chemical fertilizer? Because mostly of the farmers very particular of profit margin. And then I think we proceed with the next question. I think because it is also related by Prof. Kanif. Does the yield per unit area from organic farming comparable to normal farming methods? So these two questions are, I think, related. So Dr. Noraini, have a
Okay,
thought on this?
so the issue about the yield when we compare with the conventional Of course, the conventional, they are using chemical fertilizers. Their fertilizers might be cheaper. These chemical fertilizers might be cheaper because they are buying in bulks, and they have monoculture, and they have vast area. But for the, say, comparing on the per unit area, organic farming is actually, I think, the yield it can still produce. I think, but my point of view, right? So it can still produce a similar yield, but a healthier one. Maybe if it's less, but we have quality, the healthier one, free from chemical, free from chemical pesticide, herbicide, and so forth. The thing is, the users that are consuming our organic produce, vegetables, they are saying that the produce are sweeter. Okay, the vegetables are sweeter, and it can, the moisture in the vegetables are longer. It can last longer. So if you don't, so they are remain, the produce remain fresh for a long time. So these are the things that I think additional information rather than seeing the yield, because I know the aim of sustainable agriculture is to fulfill three goals, including the economic benefit. So I'm still convinced and that organic farming can produce similar yield to the conventional farming, but of course that will differ with the operational cost, because in organic farming we have to do a lot of weeding, manual weeding, rather than using herbicide, because in conventional they use a lot of chemical herbicide. But here in organic farming, we have to have the labor cost increase, because to have a lot of work which the labor need to maintain for the plant growth. So these are the things that may have impacted on the price, and then but know that you are going to get a chemical free product from organic. That's all. May not answer it properly, but I hope that it can give some view. All a
Okay,
lot of.
last question from Dr. Christopher, rather a long one. Some home gardeners are fiercely pro-organic, where they believe all gardening or even farming practices in the country must be purely organic. But there are also others who think that a more moderate approach, that is a combination of both conventional and organic practices, is better and more practical. So what would be your stand? We would like to hear your stand on this.
Okay, so that is actually two views, okay, contradicting views or conflicting views. So rather than, as I said, our soils are degrading, and if you want to start somewhere, start from take baby steps. So if you are uh, not to very drastically convert everything towards organic, purely organic, so you can start by changing one of your practices. For example, rather than relying for 100% chemical fertilizer, you can reduce the amount of chemical fertilizers and also incorporate the organic fertilizers. So it's the combination. So baby steps. So once you know and build up the organic matter in the soil, you probably eventually you don't really need to use any chemical fertilizers at all. And if you can on the fertilizer, if you can change the fertilizer regime, still you can also change the other side. Start using organic pesticide, organic herbicide, rather than using this chemical. So if you are doing gardening and you are actually harvesting the plants or the vegetables for your own use, you want it to be rather safe for yourself and your family. So why not try to incorporate one of any of the approaches that I have mentioned into your practices. So my view, rather than start something, incorporate both organic and inorganic, and then slowly move towards 100% organic. You can do that. So just take baby steps. So no saying somebody is right and wrong, purely organic is good, and then for these gardeners, if he decided to go towards purely organic, he can do that. But don't do if you if you can't, then don't do that drastically. Take baby steps and towards changing your practices and go towards more sustainable. So that's all.
Okay, so I think that's all the time that we have for Q&A session. If you need further information or clarification, you can contact Dr. Noraini after this. And before we end, I would like to thank Dr. Noraini for sharing her knowledge on a very important topics in the current agricultural sector, which is on organic farming. Thanks also to those that have joined and participated in the Q&A session. For the next webinar, the 11th webinar session, we will hear from Dr. Shaharuddin Zaibun on some current topics related to soil physics. We will notify you about this event through the Facebook of Fakulti Pertanian, Universiti Putra Malaysia. Okay, before we end, maybe just a brief, short concluding remark from you, Dr. Noraini.
Okay, I think my sharing today is to try to educate and say that you can do it somewhere. Start somewhere towards being sustainable to take care of our soil and the soil health. So that's my message today. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks everyone. Have a good weekend. Bye.
Thank you. Alhamdulillah.